understand that even service is pragmatically somewhat a selfish thing because we are choosing what to be of service to. Good day. Welcome to the channel. My name's Nichols. So many of us drive this ideal that we can be of service, and that makes feels really good about ourselves because we're of service. That feels great, right? But there is a pragmatic selfishness to this. The Buddhists might say selfish selflessness, because we are choosing what we are of service to in the world, even though that service is somewhat impersonal. So we're giving ourselves, which is an act of service, but giving ourselves selfishly to the things that we truly desire to improve in the world, which is a selfish act, almost by definition. So if we can truly be at peace being of service, we can only be of service to things that we want to see in the world, such as ideals that we want to see in the world, and things that align with our strengths, things that align with our aptitudes, things that align with our interests. That's where we can be most selfishly of service. And this selfish service is a thing that can transform us so we can become better in the world, and I think live our journey, live our path, so that we can understand our own mortality and face journey's end with some equanimity, using the skills that we have developed over time because of the challenges that we've experienced in this act of service and the transformations that we've made physically and psychologically through that act of service. I think that this is a good way of the world working. I think it's reasonable to ask humans to be selfishly of service. I think that's where most humans default. I think this is where we're probably the most healthy, when we're selfishly of service. We find something of great value to ourselves that we can serve in the world. So I'm not sure whether it's completely reasonable to say that a person of service is a better person than someone who's completely self-centered. I think it is just that that person who's of service has found something in the world that they can selfishly be of service to. So once you start to get that alignment of self-interest with service, and then that makes just a simpler, more fulfilling life. So I don't think that people who appear to be self-centered and selfish at the expense of others are necessarily intrinsically bad people. I think they're just not found. They're a little bit ignorant necessarily, or they just haven't found that thing in the world that allows me to be more of service to the world, or feel more of service to the world. I don't think that anybody necessarily fits into one category, completely self-serving, completely selfish. I think that there are different aspects of our lives where we have greater and lesser alignment with the greater good, and we can be of greater and lesser service to the world while still aligning us with that selfish self-interest, where we get our self-transformation out of that service of something valuable. So it's not that we're all saints or all sinners, we're all somewhere in between. Perhaps a person who is of service to the world in the area that they think is the most interesting, most useful, perhaps we could call that person a warrior. The warrior chooses what to be of service to, but he or she then gives themselves completely to that. But they're not swayed, they're not in principle manipulated by other people's desires and actions. They are choosing, this is the thing that I wish to be of service to. So they are selfishly and self-centeredly choosing that thing, but then giving themselves completely to that. Perhaps a warrior is perhaps what we should be referring to these people as, rather than servants. And I think the world is a better place for the fact there are warriors in it. I may be wrong about this. I may find one day that my views change or become more nuanced. I do think that the person who of service is selfishly, who essentially is the archetype of the warrior, is necessary for a better world. Alright, well, thanks for listening. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.